everyone. This is the Popcorn Heroes review of Zombieland Deuce.
It's called Zombieland Double Tap.
Double tap. Pop, pop. Because of the rules. I get it.
Yeah, you get it? It's a zombie pun.
You ever double tapped anybody?
No. But that was rule number what? 3? Some shit like that? Double tap.
I thought that was rule number 2.
I thought rule number 1, isn't it rule number 1 cardio?
Right, there you go.
Or is it limber up?
No. Limber up was way later.
But don't you need to limber up before your cardio?
True, but I think in general, like cardio is the big important.
You're just talking about the most important things in order of importance.
So cardio is very important. So cardio.
Okay. I am Armando. With me, as always, is Pedro.
Hello.
And God's gift, Orlando.
Yo.
What's up, kids? As usual, premise, and then we'll give you 1 out of 5 and a quick thoughts on it, and then we'll jump into it. Swan dive.
Okay.
Let's do it, Pedro.
Cool. So, this is a sequel to the first Zombieland. If you haven't seen the first Zombieland, stop listening to this right now and watch it.
I think you skip it, honestly.
No. We gotta watch it.
They reference their chemistry and all that shit.
So after you watch the first film, welcome back. All right. So this movie takes place 10 years after the first film, and it follows the survivors. I have a list here because I forgot their names. Tallahassee, Columbus, Wichita, and Little Rock. And it starts off with them setting up camp in the White House.
Yep.
And I guess to avoid any spoilers, it's just
shenanigans entail.
It's them continuing to survive in Zombieland, but now they're getting comfortable. So now they're trying to figure out what new conflicts happen with this comforts that they have. Mm-hmm. And shenanigans ensue, and
that's pretty much it.
And guest stars come in.
Yep.
And that's all. And that's all she wrote.
Yeah, man. Good job, Pedro. Loved it.
Thank you,
Orlando. 1 out of 5. Short thoughts.
I would give it like a 4.5.
Damn, that's pretty high praise.
Damn.
I mean,
high praise.
Pedro, you sat next to me during the movie, so you know I laughed a lot.
Right, I know. Yeah, he was laughing the entire time.
Orlando laughs really hard too.
Yeah.
Heard that
the whole theater was laughing at him more than the jokes.
Yeah, so I honestly really liked it. The humor is very like surface level. Like it's very like the humor plays to everybody's stereotype. Mm-hmm. And it's very easy, like humor to make, but I think they just nail it. I think they nail mostly every joke. Like even when jokes start getting like too repetitive, there's like a break in between, so then it doesn't like linger on and get stale. So yeah, I think that could be a negative. Like in terms of somebody else who can review it, might be like, oh, these jokes are so like one-dimensional and so like easy to make based on everyone's archetype, but in my opinion, I feel like they nail it, and it's just pure fun. Like it's pure fun movie. Mm-hmm. So and the story's pretty predictable, but in my opinion, like when we do these reviews, like if I really don't have anything like negative to say about like that I really enjoy it, then that's where it scores like so high.
Yeah.
Like when we did our yesterday review, I gave like a 5 because I couldn't really figure out any negatives, you know. Mm-hmm. So I'm not like always looking to dissect the movies in terms of like writing and stuff like that. Like it's like how do I feel coming out the theater? So 4.5. I really enjoyed it.
Nice, Pedro.
I give it a 3.5. I liked it, and the reason why I'm not giving it as high as Orlando here is because there's just a feel for this movie. So the first movie, it was obviously a parody, but it was still grounded in reality. Like there was stuff that made sense, and it was just in a parody manner. But here there was so many things that was just way too over the top. Caricatures that are way too crazy, and obviously it's funny, and this movie didn't take itself serious, and that's good, but there was still a version of like part 1 where it was still semi-serious. It was like a nice happy medium between the two, where it's like, yeah, we're full of shit, but at the same time there's a story to tell here. This one, it was just like balls to the wall, just like, yeah, look at all these stereotypes, look at all this craziness. And it kind of weirded me out a little bit because I was like, this almost feels like a parody of Zombieland rather than a Zombieland sequel to me. That's more of a nitpick. I still enjoyed it. I still had fun with it.
Yeah.
And there were certain plot points that they kind of started and for no reason, and it just never went anywhere. And I was kind of like, what was the point? They should have kept it like tighter. Mm-hmm. The movie kind of went in too many directions, and it really only followed like one thing. I don't know. It was a little strange. I was like, all these subplots for no reason. So that's why I kind of lower it down a little bit because I wish it was a more straightforward, tighter movie like the first one was. But I love the characters as always, and some of the cameos, which I'll get into it, were fucking phenomenal. So, but yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. For me, like, you pretty much summed up how I felt. There's something off about it. The movie itself was good. It wasn't a bad movie, but it didn't feel like number one. Like, there was something very weird about it, and I think you touched upon all that like, it wasn't tight enough, you know? And it was over the top. Oh, like, super over the top. It felt fake to me. The whole entire movie felt fake to me. And the first one never really felt that way. Like, it always felt like you said, it was grounded in something. And I think this movie, it was too over the top for its own good, and it felt like it was a... It's like we were talking about. This show was a... This movie got turned into a show, and then it got turned into a movie again.
It was originally meant to be a show, but he crunched it into a movie.
Yeah. And for some reason, the movie felt really good.
The movie felt good.
Felt really good.
And then the show didn't take off, and he got pissed.
Yeah.
So he made a sequel.
Yeah.
So I feel a lot of plot points in the show got made into this movie.
And it just feels like a show.
Yes.
And it didn't feel like a movie at all.
This felt like a sci-fi show. Idea.
Yeah. Like it's like a show. It's just
with a great fucking budget, but you know what I mean.
It could have potentially been a streaming show, which it technically would have been if it would have stayed on Amazon. But it felt like a show to me. It didn't feel like a movie. I didn't feel like I was watching a movie. It felt very over the top. The acting was pretty decent. There was just something really off about the whole thing that it wasn't letting me enjoy it enough. The jokes were pretty good. Everybody coming back was great. Just seeing all those people back together again. Some of the new characters were pretty funny. So overall, I thought it was a pretty good movie, but I don't think it was as good as number one. And I think if you were to watch these back to back, you would definitely see a very huge tonal shift in these movies. And I think that's the reason why. And the fact that I saw Zombieland very recently, and it was just like, it's just kind of like, it didn't feel like it at all. But next question is, would you guys recommend it?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would. If you've seen the first one, you're gonna have fun seeing this one. That's pretty much the gist of it. You're gonna have fun.
Yeah, if you've seen the first one, definitely watch this one. Mm-hmm. I would definitely recommend that. So let's get into the spoilers. Spoilers are here, everyone. Spoilers. Mm-hmm. Spoilers. We're jumping into it. Spoilers.
All right.
I would like to say this is not really much of a spoiler, but Abigail Breslin looks very different. And her voice changed too, right?
Well, she got older.
Of course, yeah, but she's just completely different. Like,
but think about it, dude.
And she can't really. I don't think she acts as well.
When the movie came out, I think she was
like 12,
like 12, and now she's
23 right now, and then 10 years ago she was
13, 12.
Yeah. Subtract a few for how long the movie took to make.
She's like 12 years old.
There you go.
Yeah, so
she's about 12. So I mean, shit, from 12 to 23.
I don't know, it's just
like
so weird.
Look at the kid from Sixth Sense if you want to look at reference.
What could have been is that maybe the costume design, because they try to keep everyone in the same costume.
Yeah,
so
that is
she
true.
does look like she's trying to fit into like the same clothes she wore in 2009, but it doesn't really fit her anymore in terms of like.
That's true.
As her an adult.
Yeah, you know, was one thing I noticed. Was there a time jump?
Yes, yeah. They admit that it's been 10 years.
It's been 10 years.
So they could have just changed their clothes.
Right,
but the thing is, they played they wrote everything into everyone's stereotype, so everyone stayed the same.
They that's even part of the plot. It's the fact that they've been stagnant for 10 years, and then some of the members get tired of it. Like there's no evolution in their characters. It's kind of just like, oh, we're still here. Oh, yeah. And that's one of the biggest plot points of this movie is that. So I think it works. It just felt weird for her because it was such a big growth spurt. that
Yeah.
it's more shocking to see her like that than the other.
Yeah, 'cause
And she didn't have that much screen time to really make you
Care.
not even just care, but like get reintroduced to her. You know,
Yeah,
it was very quick.
But the thing is,
Right.
like, even seeing her acting, I'm like, damn, she acted better as a child than she does in this movie.
Yeah,
And like, I've seen other movies from her. She acts pretty good. But
I
this
could
movie, she
see-
was just terrible in it.
yeah. It goes back to the everything felt like a parody in this movie. More of a parody than the first is what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, her acting was really off.
So one of the things that I was like, what was the fucking point of introducing this if you're not going to go anywhere, was the different types of zombies.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, oh, here is the Homer, which, you know, they played for laughs.
Yeah.
Here's the Hawkins, which is like the smart ones.
Yeah.
And then here's the Ninja, which you never see ever again
Yeah.
throughout
Only-
the entire movie.
Only that bus and the bus part.
Yeah. It was pointless to introduce those because they didn't
add anything to the
it didn't
story.
add anything. It should have just
It was
been
a gimmick.
It should have just been the regular zombies and in the T-800.
I think they did that to emphasize the T-100. So then
Right.
that way, like, you realize that, like, at the end, it's a whole group of T-800s, and then they brought back that Homer at the end.
Yeah, the Homer was just for
It
laughs.
was a
Yeah, for
laugh.
laughs.
Yeah. It was a gimmick.
So I think that's what I think it's just like, how can we introduce this main
Yeah.
zombie?
But I felt it would have
I
been
don't-
better to
yeah.
just have a regular zombie
and then introduce a new one.
And then
it evolved. It got smarter,
Yeah.
stronger.
They're
Whatever.
like, wait, this one doesn't get killed. Like the exact
Yeah.
same conversation they had, just minus the
just
others.
take away the other zombies. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other ones was just for a laugh in the intro, really.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just felt like it was very throwaway. They could have used it if they would have kept that and would have introduced like the ninjas more and more of that in the build up to
Yeah.
it. It was just like that. That's no big deal. And then suddenly, oh shit, a T-800, and then you only see T-800s for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
So it was like,
I guess I can see what you're saying in terms of like introducing the zombies. It could have been maybe each segment could have been a different zombie. Like when they were getting attacked at the Elvis's house, they could have had
right,
ninjas.
That actually could have been cool. Yeah.
and then in another place,
That's
they
one of
could
the
have Homer.
aspects. That's one of the aspects that I have no doubt was part of the show. And then he kind of just like rushed it in, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably would have played a bigger part.
Yeah.
Definitely, episode by episode. Oh shit, what's this one? It snuck up behind me. Oh, the ninja.
The
You know,
ninja, yeah.
I don't know. Just to do an example, season by season, they introduce a new type. Whatever.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean.
and they could have like ran in like hordes, like different zombies going different packs. And
So that was something to me that didn't translate well into a movie. It didn't translate well into this movie the way
Because
they
there
did.
wasn't enough attacks.
Mm-hmm.
So like what, they fought zombies at the beginning when they were trying to get into the White House, and
I
then,
mean, they fought zombies a lot. It was just kind
and
of
then
like
that-
so easy.
But the second time was when they were on that bus, when they're trying to get into the
they fought zombies 4 times. When you think about it, they fought.
Yeah.
They fought in the mall, too.
The White House in the mall, not that much.
no,
The White House. I would say the White House, the bus,
the bus,
Elvis,
the
end
and then the end
at Babylon.
Yeah, that was the 4.
Those are the big ones where they actually got challenged. But
Right.
they were technically them killing zombies the entire time.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit. Like they encountered zombies throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, I just but in those encounters you never saw all those other zombies. So
No,
like,
that's his point. Like
Yeah.
you could have introduced them even in the quiet moments. That way, it makes like world build. I can understand what you're saying. Like world building, like
Yeah.
it makes the world feel more alive.
and it's but the problem is that there wasn't enough time for world building in this movie. So like why just stick to the fucking
they
shit?
did do a lot of world building, especially with the whole hippie town and everything, and the whole like Elvis. So there was world building, but not as far as zombies. It was more world building. Like, there's multiple survivors now, and you kind of see that they're all fucking weird personalities. But the whole hippie side plot,
It was pointless.
it's not that it was pointless, because that was a good like climactic battle to have, but it was just so exaggerated. Like, oh yeah, they melt your guns, and then oh peace, everyone's
Right.
fucking high as a kite outside. They're all partying, but
Yeah.
the one day they party while they're there is the day that they all come.
I mean, the big problem was like, well, if they melt the guns, how have you survived? They never explained that. They never explained like how they created Babylon and how they end up surviving
Right.
for
Yeah.
such a long time.
Yeah.
It was just so cartoony. I understand they were making fun of a stereotype, you know,
Right.
Berkeley, like it was all in the, you know, it was the joke, and it was funny as a parody movie. This works great, but you know, it's still semi-grounded in reality. So you're kind of like at the back of your mind,
Yeah.
like you said, how do these fuckers really survive at the end
Yeah.
of the day?
Yeah.
So the more you think about it, the more you're like, oh, there's
Yeah,
weirdness.
and that's like when I was like saying in my review, like the reason, like I had a good time seeing it, but I see all like the like
The
the plot
problems,
holes,
yeah.
like the problems with the movie because like it's but I understand that like it's like leave your brain at the door because we're literally surface level writing here. Like anybody could come in and write the dumb blonde jokes, which was like the whole that whole character.
Right. And I think she was the best part of the movie.
She was the best part in the end. Yeah. After
and
all,
I do like the fact that she had that part where she left and then she came back. Which is obvious that she didn't die. Like,
yeah.
And so like I knew like from the like while I was watching the movie, it's like okay, the writing in this movie is so surface level that they're not going to delve into like bigger plots or like bigger meaning.
But they never did that in the first movie either.
No.
The first movie was literally let's get to the Happy Land or whatever that shit was. And that's it. That's the entire movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it worked so well. Because you already have
it
one
was point A to point B.
Point A to point B, and then just have the characters interact with each other and learn. And
this
all
is similar.
Technically it was. Technically it is. Let's find Wichita and everything on the way there.
Yeah.
No, not my bad. Not Wichita. Little Rock.
Right. This is very similar to that.
But then it had a lot of side stuff.
Yes.
Like side plots.
That's what was throwing me off.
And that's what Pedro was saying, that like all these side plots that didn't make no sense. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like, and the first movie was just straight up, let's get from here to here, and let's have these characters interact with each other. That's all it was about.
Although one of the stops that they had I thought was pretty funny was the Elvis Hotel where they meet their doppelgangers, and you know that was pretty damn funny actually.
It was pretty cool.
I don't know who they could have picked, but someone better than Luke Wilson to be.
Supposedly it was supposed to be Ryan Reynolds, I believe. And they couldn't get Ryan Reynolds, so then it happened to be Luke Wilson.
Ryan Reynolds could have worked.
Yeah, let me make sure about that.
I'll have to check that. But I loved how they chose this guy from fucking Silicon Valley.
Tom Middleditch?
Tom Middleditch, you're right. Yeah. Flagstaff. Albuquerque's partner.
See, my problem with this cameo, it's not really, is like I was telling you, it's a stupid nitpick.
You had told me it's definitely a nitpick,
it's just they're exact copies of each other. I wish they would have inversed it. Mm-hmm. You know, I wish that
Middleditch would have been the
powerful
badass
or the badass guy. You know. And then Luke Wilson would have been just like the regular guy.
Right, but I said that would have only worked if they would have got someone that looks just like Woody Harrelson. Because Luke Wilson doesn't look enough like Woody Harrelson to get the joke that it's reversed. You know? Because the fact that Middleditch looks like shockingly similar to Jesse Eisenberg.
At this point, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like that's your similarity. I don't think you need to get somebody exactly like Woody Harrelson. Because I think the character dynamics are played off.
Yeah, that joke wouldn't have worked if they didn't have someone that looked like him, though. I think.
I mean, even in alternate universe, it would have been Ryan Reynolds, and that he doesn't look anything like.
That's also true.
He also doesn't look anything like Woody Harrelson, so.
I thought it was funny how, and then there's the commandments and the rules. Like those are pretty funny. That joke went on a tad too long.
It was a little bit too long.
Yeah,
but
like I get it.
But the characters they weren't there long. Every time there was a joke that I'm like, okay, this is gonna get tiring. Especially like I feel like they were gonna tag along through this whole journey after we meet them, and then they end up dying.
I'm glad they died right away,
so
and
I'm
I thought
like,
that was great.
That's great. Like.
Yeah, you know what? I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh man, they're gonna tag along and then they'll get killed at the climax at the end. But then when I saw, let's go outside, I'm like, this is where they die hilariously. I knew that was gonna happen, so but it was pretty good. Like, oh no, you got bit 5 times, and then they all start just barfing and going nuts.
It was pretty good. I just it was too on the nose for me. I'm just like, I get it.
But that's every joke in the movie, though. That's the thing. Like every joke in the movie was
very on the nose.
Was on the nose.
Although the on the nose joke that I really liked was the whole Uber joke that she did. that was really good. What if like strangers can like pick you up and you just call them on your phone and you rate them 1 out of 5 and they get like fired if they're not higher than 3, and everyone's like, dumb bitch.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. We're gonna get in the car for a stranger. It's killed.
What's funny is that obviously, like Zombieland is 2009, so it's just like Uber never existed.
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, oh man, what a great joke.
It was the smartest joke that played in that movie.
It was on the nose because it was literally like, but. I don't know.
But they played it smartly.
They played it smartly.
It was a smart joke.
Because like Orlando said, in their version of the future, whatever, of the present, and that never happened. So I thought that was great.
It would be even funny if they mentioned like, man, I wish we had like some portable devices we could watch stuff on. I think that would have been pretty cool.
But
because back in 2009...
In 2009, you could watch movies on your phone by then, I think. I'm pretty sure. Maybe not as well.
The smartphone came out in 2007. No, it was 2 years. It's 2 years.
Yeah,
I don't think you were there yet.
maybe.
I think you started getting that maybe 2012.
Yeah, but the Uber definitely translated more because we know that's fairly recent and we know that wasn't here 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like for sure.
Yeah. That's true.
But definitely, I looked her up. Her name is Madison. Madison was definitely the best character in the movie.
She was the best character in that movie.
Yeah. And what do you guys think about like
The hippie guy?
well, I was gonna say the at least the plots within the characters with like him sleeping with Madison and him having that dilemma with what was her name?
Yeah. The problem with that one, after 10 years, shouldn't you already know? Like, what are you afraid of at this point? You guys been together for fucking 10 years.
I guess I guess in their mind it's just like
Is it temporary?
her mind was like Zombieland created this world where like I had no choice in terms of like partner because like I found you in Zombieland and it's like if we were in the real world
I wouldn't date you.
what if you know?
Yeah.
Because there's more options and the world is different.
Yeah, so I wouldn't date you even if you're the last man on earth. Oh, wait, but I mean, you are.
Yeah.
So
I could see that, I guess, that dilemma of rising, but it's also like it's one of those things where like the writing is like, how can we cause conflict to have this resolve at the end?
yeah, it definitely felt forced.
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't feel natural.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially with the 10-year jump, it just
It's
felt
been 10
awkward.
years. Like, shouldn't this have happened within 5 years?
Right.
You guys
I mean,
meeting each other?
yeah, you would think, but
At this point, shouldn't you be like, all right, fuck it. I guess we're it, you know?
yeah, this is also part of what I meant, like the very cartoony,
Right.
So part of it, but it was just enough to get them to leave so that you can move. Now they would have probably fucking stayed in the White House forever.
Yeah, it's a plot device just to move them forward.
Yeah. But I don't think you needed them to break up to give them a plot device. I think the girl just being tired of being coddled would have been enough plot device to be like, I need to get the fuck out of here. And like, oh shit, where did she go? Like, wake up and she's not there. Like, I don't think you needed the whole process of him asking her to marry him, and then she's like, oh, I'm scared of this, and then she leaves with her sister. Like, I don't think you needed that. I think the all you needed was the sister to be like, yo, I'm tired of being here with all you fucks. I need to go out there and find something on my own. Which is essentially what she did.
Right.
But you didn't need to do the breakup in order to lead to that.
Well,
I guess-
but the proposal was showing that she's afraid of commitment.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that you don't need that. You didn't need to do proposal. You didn't need to propose all that crap.
The
You
thing
just
is,
needed her to leave.
I think I get what you're saying, but I guess since the conflict is her leaving and then she's not in the movie, out of all the characters, she's in the movie the least amount.
Yeah.
You don't really get that resolve. Even at the end, it feels kind of like shoehorned in because it was like, oh, I date this guy, and
she didn't find anything
And at the
in
end,
the
it's like,
end.
I fucked this guy.
Yeah.
But so like that doesn't feel like
It didn't feel right.
it doesn't feel right because we don't get enough time with her.
Yeah.
To see like that she's realizing, oh, this is not what I want.
Yeah.
Because you see her when she meets the hippie guy.
Yeah.
And then she's like head over heels, and then like a light switch, she's no longer head over heels. So since that character is gone for the most of the movie,
Right, you're talking about the sister now that
Right,
where she's
Little
having
Rock.
the issue, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
where she's
so-
having the issue with Woody Harrelson.
well, she's having an issue. Well, also she has the issue with Woody Harrison, but she also has the issue with the hippie.
Yeah.
Where Berkeley, because she is head over heels for him, and at the end it kind of like just changes.
Or she just uses him.
I didn't take it as she was head over heels. I just think it was kind of like, oh my god, another fucking human.
Right.
And
Head over
somebody
heels.
my age,
Well,
at
so
least.
she was
Because from the get go, she even says, I knew who so and so was. So it pretty much shows that all the stories that he was saying on the way there, she knew was bullshit.
right. But the thing is that like at least how she portrayed it in the movie, you don't really get that. You really get like
You only get it at the end.
Yeah, you only get it at the end. So like you don't really see her like, oh, I'm wise to your shit. Only at the end, which is like a light switch, where she's like, nah, dude, I know what the fuck you're doing. I know who you are, kind of shit. So I think at least as a movie, like the conflict of having Columbus and the girl's name. Wichita having that dilemma, at least you see that drawn out throughout the whole movie. So the resolution of it makes more sense, and it lets there be conflict throughout the movie with like talking pieces, you know, and then it gives Madison a reason to exist. You could have her in the movie with them together, and then she's just tagging along. But the fact that she's along with this like triangle kind of builds that like, that tension between the two female characters, especially when she has to go out and like, hey, go kill her. Like, she's gonna turn into a zombie, but technically kill her anyway because I don't fucking like her.
Yeah.
It kind of adds more of like,
and she's like, oh no, she's dying. Oh god.
Yeah, it adds more to the story.
For me, I guess I didn't. I would have been fine without it. I don't think it added anything to it, to be honest with you. I think if you wanted to introduce a dumb blonde, you could have just done it to introduce a dumb blonde to Woody Harrelson's character. Like, I mean, it just there's for me, it didn't make sense, to be honest with you. Like, it just, that whole breakup thing, it didn't add anything to the characters. It didn't make him quote unquote grow or whatever, because I felt like she already had that growth in the first movie of just like, oh, I'm on my own, fuck everybody. And then she finds these people and then she becomes a family with them. Like, shouldn't that I felt that I was already kind of like solved. And it's been 10 years. I'm just like, shouldn't you already solve your issues within 10 years of like all this time, and all of a sudden this issue comes out? Like, I don't know. It just felt off. Like, I felt like it didn't really make sense within the confines of the movie. Like, they should have already been character growth. They should have been already done stuff already. For me, I think it would have been better to simplify the plot and have the trigger be Abigail Breslин's character just fucking leave, and that's it. Like, oh shit, we gotta go find her. Where did she go? And the movie is them finding people that leads them to her, which essentially they did, right? It's just to simplify it. Like, I don't need all this other bullshit. Like you said, like there's so much side plots that didn't fucking make sense. Like, you didn't need all those things to carry along and make the characters interact with each other. Like, I don't know. It's just there is a way to simplify this, and having a point A to point B with shit happening to them would have been just like the first one. Just like have A to point B, have shit happen to them. And I think it's just, this happens to them, but these characters have conflict, and this happens, and these guys have conflict, and I'm just like, no, dude. Like, you didn't need all that. Just make a fucking basic ass movie, and that's what made the first movie so good. It was fucking basic. It was a straight movie, and you had fun with it, and that's essentially what I thought was gonna happen after fucking 10 years. Like, don't give me conflict that should have been resolved 10 years ago, like, or 5 years ago, or whatever.
And that could be a problem, the fact that like it was supposed to be a show, and maybe he had all these plots written up, like Pedro said, and it's all doing.
And it could have been great. That would have made complete sense if it was a show,
right?
Because Zombieland happened, and then they're growing together and going through all these things. But don't give it to me 10 years. Like, shouldn't you already done this already? Like, I don't know. It's just,
right. You don't know what happened in those 10 years to justify this. It's just kind of like,
it just didn't make sense.
I get it.
What made sense more was her trying to find kids her age, like Abigail Breslin trying to find kids her age. That made complete sense,
right?
Because
it's like you're all grown ass people, and then
I'm the only kid.
And then they're together. Yeah. You're an old fucking father figure.
Yeah. And like, is there actually kids out here? Like, that would have been cool for her to explore that. Like, explore that world with kids. Like, how, they grew up here technically. So how's their life in this world? I think I would have loved to seen that story more,
right,
of how kids who grew up in Zombieland are in Zombieland. Because that's all they know.
Right.
That's it. That's literally their teenage years or quote unquote formative years in Zombieland. Like, how the fuck did you go through this? Like, I think that would have been I think you would have better laughs and whatever, but it is what it is.
I will say that the best part of the movie they saved for the end, the after credits.
It was good.
It was good, dude.
I'm
shocked they brought him back.
I'm biased. So, okay, I didn't know he was gonna come at the end. But I like that they threw him into the movie anyways by showing I almost murried you, and then they're like, murried. And they're like, yeah, when I think you're a zombie and then I kill you, but you end up being a human. And they're like, oh, where'd that name come from? Yeah, some motherfucker killed Bill Murray. And when I find him, and everyone was like, oh shit,
he's right there.
So I was like, oh, that's so good, that's cool. And then when I saw the after credits, I'm like, this is amazing.
How he got first introduced to the Zombieland, that was pretty cool.
And the apocalypse started because of Garfield 3. Essentially, that was it was the premiere of Garfield 3, and then he's in the middle of the interview. Yeah. I loved it, and then he kind of had like a good little action scene, just
blacking people with chairs, yeah.
Him killing like fans and stuff like that had turned. So I was like, yeah, that's pretty fun.
It was pretty good. So if you don't know, stay for that, because a lot of people left when I was watching it.
Yeah,
a lot of people in my theater left. They didn't know that was happening.
Well, just between me, did you know that Grace was one of the people interviewing him?
Yeah.
I did not recognize
That's how I
her.
knew that was that cameo at the end.
Oh, because she had mentioned it?
Because she was like, "Oh, I'm filming after credit for Zombieland."
Oh, nice.
You knew somebody who was in Zombieland?
No, it was just we followed this YouTube personality who does reviews movies and talks about movies and shit.
Yeah.
So she was a guest reporter in that
okay.
cameo.
Yeah.
She's a girl with the blonde hair. Which is funny because these are all major news people. If you notice that,
And
it was the lady from Spanish TV, Gordy La Flaca.
Yeah.
And then you got the guy from like I think what
You had Al
NBC?
Roker. Al Roker.
Yeah, I think he's from NBC, right?
Yeah, NBC, yep.
And so it was just pretty funny seeing all these like internet. And then somebody like another internet personality was there too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it was just pretty funny seeing like all this happening.
All these people just dying.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I thought it was a pretty funny sequence.
That was a great way to end it.
It brought people together essentially because those all random news outlets, and it's like, dude, this is what they actually go through during their press runs. You know, they have a hotel room and just have a revolving door of fucking press come in and interview. So that was pretty funny. And what makes it even funnier is that in Zombieland 1, what's his name again? I forgot. Bill Murray. In Zombieland 1, they ask him when he's dying, "Oh, what's your biggest regret?" And he said Garfield 3. So it's funny.
No. He says Garfield.
Yeah. So it's funny that he's doing a press junket for Garfield. You know, I think that was pretty funny the way to bring it back.
Any regrets? I don't know. Garfield. Yeah, that was good.
It was such a good bringing it back. You know, a perfect circle. Any last thoughts?
No.
No, I think we covered it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All
Overall,
right.
great movie.
Yeah, go watch it if you saw one. Might as well. Decent movie. You could maybe catch it still in theaters. I know we're late on this. You could potentially still catch it in theaters. Well, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed this podcast review of Zombieland Double Tap. Follow us on our social media platforms. We're on Facebook and Instagram. Slide into the DMs. We read your messages.
Oh yeah,
we do. Till next time.
Bye-bye.
Later, guys.